back. We are at the end of our marital happiness summary or survey. This one, I think, is going to be good to be able to wrap it all up. And we're going to have a very specific challenge for you that's going to be somewhat redundant because we definitely talked about it before.
Yeah.
But this absolutely, I was actually very encouraged when I saw how this did come up from various sources, that this is a big indicator and influence on marital happiness. And it's a very positive one, has its negative side.
I felt reinforced because
Yes.
I know it's something that you and I talk about all the time, and we in our heart believe it.
Yes.
So when I saw it come up among the experts, I thought, we're on the right track.
We're on the right track.
We're on the right track.
It's not
a new teaching.
Old. It's to be honest, it's one of those things that's not glamorous or
Right.
hip and exciting. It's just not. It's
Right.
It's almost. I'm gonna be extreme. I'll say it. It's almost boring. It's almost a little too mundane or air quotes dull. And here it is. One of the ideas that I learned is the idea of years ago having what Gottman and Gottman training, they call it the Gottman State of the Union meeting. They put that in the category of the one of the specific hours during the week that will positively enhance your relationship with your husband, with your wife. It is a chance to reflect, to encourage, to address things that you may not get a chance to address because life just keeps popping. It's almost like a pause. It's not a date. It's not all fun, but it's where you plan your dates.
Right.
It's not doing your finances, but it is where you do work out maybe some simple financial things for that week or that month. It's a ritual of connection.
Yes.
Where you talk about how are we doing. And not a long drawn out meeting, but a time you're not talking about whatever. It's just about what's happening between us now and what are we looking forward to this week. And that being at least an hour on a rhythmic weekly basis. Gottman calls it the State of the Union meeting. we like to call it
The checkup.
The check-in. We like to call it the check-in. And then we nicknamed the 5 Ps with it.
Ps.
And why do you think having a check-in, specifically an hour-long, undistracted, face-to-face interaction with your spouse, where you talk about what's going on between us, not just the bad, but the positives and what you're looking forward to, why does that affect marital happiness?
You know what it made me think about? Because we said check-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It made me think about our car, right? So I'll take ownership. I will drive that car and drive and drive and drive and drive. I will drive until a light goes off. And even if a light goes off, I'll gauge is this a emergency light? Or is this a light that I could even keep pushing? And then all of a sudden one day, I'm on the highway and the car breaks down. And you're like, Pam, did the light go off? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't think it was an emergency. And so I then have to call AAA, get the car towed. Right. And so the guy says, did you get your regular check-in or checkup? And I'm like, cars have checkups? They really do?
Yeah, especially when you
and
do
so
it.
That's what happens to me in our marriage. That I will go and go and go and go and go and go. And we'll get some red lights here. But if they not shutting us down all the way, we're going to keep going until all of a sudden we're broke down on the highway and we got to be towed.
Absolutely.
So that's the importance of the check-in to me. A check-in avoids breaking down in the middle of the highway.
Figuratively, physical, the car, literally. The power to me of the check-in is that it keeps you out of automatic living. One of the things as a therapist, automatic living is what I call when people, you live in your life, you're working hard, you're being a husband, a father, whatever you're doing. You're living your life, but you're doing it just because that's what you do. You go from day to day, routine to routine. The routine may be pleasant. The routine, you may feel stressed and overworked. It doesn't even matter what the routine is, but there's never a point where you're making many decisions or choices. Right. You're pretty much just living a life where you're responding to your job, maybe responding to the circumstances, responding to whatever pressures or influences, but you're not really making choices.
That's really good, because I remember a couple of years ago, we ran across somebody who talked about how people live in the urgent.
Yes.
You live in the urgent and you don't take care of things that are important,
right?
But they may not be urgent. And our marriage is important even when it's not urgent.
And the important things in marriage, for example, what's important in the first 6 months of your marriage will not be the same thing a year in.
It's true.
Or 6 months in.
Right.
What's important in your marriage for 5 years is not going to be the same level or the same things that are going to be as important 10, 15. Right. In other words, without being present to your own life and to your marriage, with each other, you can't adapt. Right. And that will get your marriage stuck. It may look good for a while, but it's almost like driving in neutral. It's like it works on the downhill. Downhill looking awesome. The minute something changes, though, like a plane or uphill, you can't go anywhere. Check-in enables you to keep your marriage on purpose. I want to encourage you. If you have been looking at our videos, we've been talking a lot about this idea of checking in, about having that State of the Union. We call it the 5 Ps, and we give you an outline that kind of gives you something to specifically talk about that will help your marriage. No more than an hour a week can make a palpable difference. Now, here's the catch. It's boring. I don't mean that literally, but it feels like that. What's another thing that stops us?
Just not making time for it. I feel like it's as simple as that. You don't put it in your schedule, and so it doesn't happen. There is no really other reason. You just didn't put it in your schedule. You didn't say a time and a date and a place for 1 hour this week that we're going to do it. And if you don't plan it, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. We can make a whole lot of other excuses, but at the end of the day, we just didn't plan it.
Yeah. And like I said, I was being tongue-in-cheek when I said it. It's not boring. It's actually really encouraging, but it's not something that will, if you don't plan it and you don't do it on purpose, it's not going to get you going. It takes both of you in agreement, a time, a day, and a place. I want to give you this challenge. Now you may say, what challenge can you give us? We've been married 35 years, or you've been married three days. Think of it as an experiment. For this month, December, this is December, doesn't matter what month it is. For this next month, whether it's the middle of the month, middle of the month, the next 4 weeks, try putting into your schedule to have that kind of State of the Union or the 5 Ps check-in. Try it. Just try it. Think of it as just pure experiment. Maybe a total waste of time for you. Or it may be something that will really enhance your marriage. And we would like to hear from you. Let us know how it goes. And you can look at our other videos to find out more about the 5 Ps. And this has been great.